All right, perfect. Here we are. So hello and welcome. This is Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream. And thank you so much to each of you for being on this conference call today. This week, we are changing our format just slightly. I want to be a little bit more intentional and a little quicker with our calls. And so what we're doing is we're having this call in English from 10 to 10:30 instead of from 10 to 11. So we're doing it in 30 minutes. And then we'll start our Spanish call at 10:30 and do that one until 11. All right? So I think we can get through what we need to get through and what we want to get through in 30 minutes of time. And in fact, my content I think I can get through in about 20 minutes and then still leave 10 minutes for Q&A. And so, so with that, here we are. It is the 22nd of April. Thanks to each of you for being with me here, and I really do appreciate this opportunity to speak with each of you and to touch base about what's going on in this crazy world we live in, right? So, all right, here we are. So as far as my coronavirus update, we are still sheltering in place. We do have an order out for the County of Alameda and many counties here in the Bay Area to wear face masks, especially if we're in essential services, walking into the grocery stores and things like that. So please, everyone, respect that order, and thank you for doing that. Right now, there are 776,093 total reported cases of the coronavirus, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. And right now, there have been 41,758 deaths related to the coronavirus. So this is a serious virus. It is continuing to spread despite our sheltering in place efforts. But the spread of the virus is slowing, and so that's something positive. You know, we are being smart and we're being wise to take precautions as we're doing to protect ourselves and to wash our hands and to, you know, do what we can to keep our own immune systems strong and healthy. I do encourage everyone, as always, to continue exercising. I went for a 4-mile jog this morning, and I feel great afterwards. And I really encourage everybody who's listening to take a personal assessment, right, of our own health, because you know, it's important that we eat right and get our vitamins and minerals and get exercise to keep our respiratory system and to keep our immune system as strong as possible with viruses going around. And so let's do that. As far as my immigration update, so immigration court has moved back its closures. So right now, all scheduled hearings that have been scheduled through May 15th have been and will be postponed. Last week, it had been closed through May 1st. So now they've moved that date back, which is smart of them, right? If we think about master calendar hearings, there's a lot of people packed into those courtrooms. And so I am glad that the Executive Office of Immigration Review, which is EOIR, we call it, it's the agency in charge of the immigration courts. I'm glad that they have moved back the open date of the immigration court system. As far as USCIS goes, their date remains the same for now. All USCIS offices are closed through May 3rd, and so if you have a USCIS interview that's scheduled after May 3rd, up until this point, those are still going forward. All right, but if it's been scheduled before May 3rd, then your interview will be reset. All right, so don't worry about that. That's all I want to say for our immigration update. Those are the main, like, court closures and things like that. If you have a different type of case that's not in front of USCIS or that's not in the immigration court system, please contact our office and we can give you more detailed information about that. Trying to think what might be like a consular case. I mean, basically consular cases are not moving forward right now anyway. So that basically explains where immigration offices and processes are at. Even with this, we do still continue to get approval notices in the mail. We won a green card just yesterday. We are receiving notices from USCIS, so we know for a fact that they are still open and still able to process certain immigration applications. They're just not doing any in-person services, all right? So they, like the rest of us, are trying to shelter in place as much as possible, but they are continuing to do some work on immigration processes. All right? So thanks to everyone who was here last Friday. Last Friday, I hosted a webinar training on the CARES Act, which was the economic stimulus package, or it is the economic stimulus package. And really, that training was specific for immigrants. And the question there is kind of which immigrants are eligible to receive the economic stimulus rebates, the individual rebates of $1,200 per individual plus $500 for children. And so if you have questions about that, please feel free to contact our office or check our firm out on Facebook, all right, which is facebook.com/Landerhome Immigration. You can always check us out there. I believe that we've sent links out to everyone. So if you're curious, you can certainly get a free copy of that training that I gave out. I did it in English and in Spanish, so that everybody can get that information. All right. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is this tweet. Our wonderful president announced a tweet 2 days ago saying that he's going to, quote unquote, close immigration. All right. And so our office has been receiving calls about this. I don't know if everybody who's on this call heard about this. But basically, I think it's ridiculous. I mean, I think that the announcement's ridiculous. And why do I think that? Because basically, immigration from outside the U.S. entering the U.S. right now is pretty much halted anyway. All right? And so why sign a new executive order regarding it? I really do think it's silly. That's my feedback, Mr. President. So basically, what does the executive order say, and what does it mean? It basically says that he is not going to issue new green cards for the next 60 days. All right? That's it. That's what it means. It doesn't mean anything else. And we're not 100% sure. There's been very little guidance from the government up to this point as to whether he's just talking about consular green cards, people applying for new applications for permanent residency from overseas. Obviously, most of the consulates are closed right now because of the coronavirus anyway. So this is sort of a legal formality that kind of sets in the law what is already happening in practice. And so my hope is that it's just that, and we are waiting for good guidance as to whether or not it is just that. And but worst case scenario, it could also mean people that are here inside the United States that have applied for what we call adjustment of status or have applied for green cards here in the U.S. And so I think if Trump has his way, no green cards, period, will be approved for the next 60 days, and that includes adjustments. So it might, I'm not conclusive on this because there's very little guidance, but I do almost expect it to also include pending applications for adjustment of status, all right? Which means that, that pending applications for adjustment of status will not be decided, probably, in all likelihood, for the next 60 days. So if you have an application pending for a green card, and if you've already been waiting for a long time, chances are you're probably going to need to wait again an additional 60 days before receiving that decision in the mail. And I think that there's not going to be too much that we can do about that. My guess is there's going to be several lawsuits filed against Trump because of it. And so all of this is going to be yet an additional legal battle based on this new executive order. And let me say something else. Let me say what it's really not. It does not mean that we can't apply for green cards, all right? It does not mean that cases are going to get denied, all right? It just means that for people who have already applied, that your case will probably not be adjudicated for the next 60 days. So I just wanted to clarify that. All of that is everything that I wanted to announce as far as like the updates and what's going on in the world. All right, so hopefully all that clarified what's going on, and hopefully it was a good just summary of everything that is going on. Obviously, if you are have a more specific issue about your specific case, please contact our office. Our office, of course, is still open. We are not accepting appointments in person. We're all working remotely from home to respect the shelter-in-place order and to, minimize individual contacts so that we decrease the likelihood of spreading this virus or any other germ at this time, right? And so that's where we are. So if you do have questions, please go ahead and contact our office. So now I would like to shift gears, and what I want to do and what I want to talk about is in terms of my own personal philosophy, right, for this week, is I want to talk about 5 reasons why we should not, and I'll repeat that, why we should not pause our whole lives right now, okay? Why we should not treat this time as like a giant pause and not move forward during this time, all right? So I've got 5 reasons here, so stay with me. Reason number 1 of why we should not pause is precisely because everyone else in the world seems to be pausing, all right? So we would be very wise to use this time in our lives to actually get ahead of the curve, all right? If we are considering submitting an application for immigration benefits, all right, it would be wise and it would be beneficial to use this time to get that application in so that it is ahead of the thousands of applications that will be submitted as soon as everything opens back up, all right? And the same is true in other areas of our lives, all right? If we want to start something new, now would actually be a wonderful time to do that. It is a perfect opportunity to do that, and I encourage everyone to think about where in their lives they could take advantage of this time to actually get ahead of the game, all right? Maybe, well, I won't get into finances too much, but for anybody that's considering putting any money into like an investment or a business venture or a stock or something like that, I mean, really consider doing that. If you're capable of doing that during this time, it'd be like, it'd be strategic. All right, that's all I'll say about that. All right, second reason of why we should not pause right now. Second reason is this time is useful. All right, even if we're not working, this time can be used to perhaps learn a new skill, perhaps to develop new relationships, pick up the phone, call people that we haven't spoken to in a long time, perhaps to increase understanding of new technologies. I think a lot of us are exploring conference calls and Zoom meetings and virtual technology that maybe we never had to before. So it actually is a time that we can use to welcome ourselves to the 21st century. And so that's not a bad thing. You know, at the end of this, we will have more skills if we use this time to develop those skills, all right, including more familiarity with technology. Reason number 3, we do not know how long this period, this strange period, will last, all right? We don't know how long this is going to last. There's a lot of uncertainty out there. And so we shouldn't just sit and wait for this period to end. Shouldn't just sit back and watch a lot of movies on Netflix or watch a lot of TV or whatever, right? Instead, we should make sure to take steps to prepare ourselves for when everything does open back up, which eventually it will, and we should make sure to use this time to prepare ourselves for however long this might end up taking, all right, which all the projections are that it will probably take longer than we even are aware of, all right? So let's be smart about it. Let's use this time intelligently so that we best prepare ourselves for whatever might come in the future. All right? Reason number 4, as I go through my list here, is, okay, when there is uncertainty and when times are uncertain for us, it's emotionally unwise, it's emotionally draining to focus on the uncertainty. And instead, it's wise for us to focus our energy, which we all have the power to control our own focus, control what our mind focuses our energies on. In times of uncertainty, it's wise to focus on what we can do, all right? It helps us to keep our perspective. Focus on what we can accomplish today. Focus on what we can contribute today, right? Who are the 2 people that you could call and touch base with and actually contribute to in some way, shape, or form today, right? And so I really encourage us to think about this. I had a phone call with my grandmother just 2 days ago, and it made a huge difference for her, right? She's basically stuck in her house and can't have people visiting her because of her age, right? And so, you know, who in our lives could we make a phone call to that could actually make a difference? The key is to focus on what we can do. And that's one of the big reasons why we shouldn't be pausing, all right? Focus on what we can do and do it. All right, and reason number 5. Are you ready for my 5th and final reason? So for my 5th and final reason, I want us all to stop for just a minute and take a deep breath with me. All right? So ready? Take a deep breath. Ready? Breathe in. And breathe out. There we are. The 5th reason is just this. The present is all we have. I'm going to say that again. The present moment is all we have, everybody. The past doesn't actually exist anymore. The future is never guaranteed, period. All right? There was a meteor shower last night. You know, a meteor could hit our planet and blow us all to smithereens the next minute. Like, we could get hit by a bus. The future is never guaranteed. All right? Really, our lives exist in the present moment. My goal for every one of you, and I'm so thankful that you're here on this call, my goal for every one of us is that we take the most of our present day, all right? My goal as an immigration lawyer is that immigrants, right, can take the most advantage of their lives as possible. All right? And it's like to take the most advantage of every day as if it's a precious day, and be grateful for this day, this time that we have together in the present moment, and like live our lives to the absolute fullest. Because this present moment right now really is all that we have. So that's it. That's it. Those are my top 5 reasons of why this time should not be a giant pause. Instead, let's use this time to live our lives, because we are alive, and I am grateful, and I hope each of us has something to be grateful for this opportunity to be alive on this planet Earth, for this limited amount of time that we all have to share it together. That's all I got. It is 10:22. Thank you all so much for being with me today. I want to open this up for questions and answers. We've got 8 minutes for Q&A, and so let's be intentional, let's be focused, let's do it. So, friendly reminder, to ask a question, hit *6 on your phone, *6. And if you don't have a question, that's totally fine. Tell me something that you're grateful for, all right? If you don't have a question, that's totally fine. Hit *6 anyway, and tell me something that you're really grateful for. And if you have something that you're actually going to accomplish today, that'd be great too. All right? Christy, do we have any questions?
We do not.
All right. Well, all right. Well, here we are. So don't be shy, you know. Don't be shy. Ask a question. Enter a conversation. And if nobody has anything to say, that's totally fine too. Really, my goal for everyone is to stay in the conversation. And I really am grateful that each of you are here with me. And thanks to those of you who have tuned in week on week on week. I love to have an opportunity to just touch base and to let people know, really, to let each of you know that I am grateful for each of you, and to think about our lives a little bit. And yes, we should not have a pause in the things that we're doing, but it's certainly okay to take a moment now and then to kind of smell the roses and to reassess what we're doing in life. That I definitely do encourage. And so, perfect. Let's see. Any questions now, Christy?
No, we do not.
All right, cool. All right, well, it's 10:25. Thank you all again so much for being with me. Let's go ahead and wrap it up then. We'll do our Spanish call here, same line, in just 5 minutes. And thank you all again. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you. Hope you tune in again next Wednesday, same time, same place.